Now the margin is the initial amount that you would typically pay to trade, and it's usually about 1% of the trade value. So you can actually access or control $100,000 worth of currency just with a $1,000 deposit. Now the leverage allows you to create a greater transaction with a smaller amount of money. Now some brokers offer right up to 400 to 1 leverage ratio, but we don't want you to do that. We want you to start at maybe 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 5 to 1, 10 to 1, right? Not 400 or not 200. Now these are the currencies that we trade. You've all seen them. We've got the US dollar, we've got the euro, we've got the British pound, the Japanese yen, Swiss franc, and then these three bottom ones, the Canadian dollar, Australian, and new dollar. That's your dollar. New Zealand dollar. It's a new dollar, right? So why do you think I've got those ones in orange? Would anybody know? They're commodities driven, right? Like our country is commodities based. Yeah, we've got a lot of rich earth, a lot of great minerals and things that come out of our earth, right? So these main currencies are commodities driven. So when you're looking at, for example, the S&P 500, how many stocks are in the index of S&P 500? Have a guess. Good answer, 500. So what about the Australian Stock Exchange? ASX 200, how many? 200. 200, excellent. How many currencies can you see up there? So they're the main ones. You don't have to sit there and go, which one will I do? Now the pairs, like euro, anything euro is good, right? Anything US dollar is good, right? Because they're normally paired with other currencies. These are the most traded ones. The euro and US, the British pound and US, the US yen, US Canadian, US Swiss franc, US Australian, and so on. Why do you think the US dollar is a pair to nearly all of the currencies traded? It's one of the most common, yes? What's another one? Why would you think we would want to pair up with the Australian dollar and then they're in most of them? Yeah, it's like the most widely used currency. It makes up about 83% of the entire foreign exchange market. But you could pretty much go to any remote corner of the globe with a couple of US dollars in your pocket and you'd be able to get whatever you wanted or whatever you needed. However, just say you went to a tiny little tribe at the back of Machu Picchu, right? And you had a couple of Vietnamese dong, and that's all you had left because you just come from Vietnam. And you said, I need to get a helicopter because I've got an injured friend, or I need to get this, or I need to get that. And you give them a couple of these dongs. What do you reckon they'd do? Yeah, hey, off they go. However, if you pulled out some US dollars, do you reckon they'd take it? Because everyone recognises that dollar, right? US soldiers, Australian soldiers, British soldiers get given US dollars when they deploy to the Middle East, right? Because it gets you out of situations, and it is a highly worldly wide based currency, global based currency, okay? So this is, you can see here, this is the currency there, and they're the pair, because we're buying and selling one at exactly the same time. Now, as I said, New Zealand, Australia, and the Canadian are commodities-driven currencies. All right, so let's have a look at the currencies. So normally you have two pairs in a foreign exchange. So you've got the euro, for example, US dollar. So the base currency, which is the first one, is always equal to $1 of whatever it is. The base currency is always equal to 1. So if you take 1 euro dollar, trading at 1.3170, means that 1 euro is worth 1.3 US dollars. So if you always remember that the first one is equal to $1, okay? Now, when you see charts, this is typically what you see. When the chart is up, it just means the base is up, which is the first currency, right? So this is a view that the exchange rate rises and the term is weakening against the base. So as this chart's moved up, this is an Australian dollar, US dollar trade, right? That Kel will talk to you about. This is an actual trade that they're in, right? From November 09 through to the end of the year, right? So the Australian dollar has stepped up, and the US dollar has weakened against the Australian dollar. Now, how do we make money? Well, what's the measurement of this? You may want to write this down. It is known as pips, Right? Now, the pip is the smallest move that a currency can make, and it measures 1 unit change in the actual exchange rate. So, for example, let's just take £1, right? £1, 1 British pound. Just say £1 is equal to $1.65 US. So we look at the last 2 digits of a currency pair, and that's referred to as the pips, because it's written in decimal points, right? So you'll have 2, 3, 4 decimal points after it, right? So the digits after the decimal point are known as pips. So if we're going long, what does long mean? Does anyone know? Long means buy. It's just a term, a trader's term for buying, because we plan to buy or go long and sell it high. Like anything, you're going to buy low, make a profit, sell it high for a higher price. So long means buy, short means sell. Okay, so I don't want to confuse you. So when you hear short selling, it means they're going to sell short. Sell, easiest way to remember it. So if we're going long, which means we're going to buy at $1.65.35, and we want to make 20 pips of profit, because this is where we're going to make our profit, right? We need the trade to go up and close at 165.55. Can everyone see that we've made 20 pips of profit just from that movement? And that's how you work it out. We don't need to worry about this unless you plan on making 200, 3,000, 4,000 pips of movement, profit, right, over a long, long term. That's fine. But as new traders, we're only going for maybe 20, 30, 40 pips each week, right? Ideally, it'd be great to get 500, 1,000 pips per month. But initially, when you're first starting, you just want to start small, a couple of small pips. So that's what you're looking at, the measure and performance in the pip size. You're only looking at the numbers after the decimal point. And that's how you'll do the calculation in your head. And you'll learn all this. We'll teach all this. Some of you may be going, oh my God, already. But that's good, because that's what it's about. All you need to see is you know already that you want big results, and you know that there are many, many people making millions and millions of dollars trading already. You just want to be one of them. Who wants to be one of them? Who'd be happy just to make an extra couple $100,000 a year trading? And then you could just, like some people put their hand up like that, that's what you could go back to your boss and do. Right? Not everyone got that, it's good. Only the sharpest did. Now let's have a look at the lot size. So just say we've worked out that we're going to make 20 pips, right? This is understanding how the lot sizes work. They're just 3 main ones. You just remember, a standard lot, it allows you to control $100,000 worth of currency, but it's equal to $10 a pip. So on that 20 pip movement that we just calculated, at $10 a pip, how much would we have made? $200. Everyone agree with that? Okay, cool. Now just say we opened an account and we're trading a mini lot, right? So that means we can control $10,000 worth of currency, and a mini lot is equal to $1 a pip. So on that 20 pip example, how much could we make on that movement? $20. Everyone happy with that? Now, some of you may come in with a $1,000, $2,000 account. You guys will only be able to initially start trading with maybe 10 sets, a micro lot, right? But you can have lots of micro lots. And once it builds up, then you can move into mini lots, and then you can move into standard lots, right? A lot of our clients come in with just trading $1 a pip. If it moves $20, you're going to make, moves 20 pips, you're going to make $20. But if it happens 2 or 3, 4 times a day, you know, that can quickly build up to $100 a day. And then once you get a bigger account size, then you can start looking at trading $6 a pip, $8, $10, $12, and so on, all the way up to $20, $30, $40, $50 pips. Does that make sense? That's in a nutshell how you would make your money, because you always want to know and understand how much money you're going to make, right? But also, what did I mention before? How much money are we prepared to lose? Right, now risk management, in my belief, is one of the most important parts. Psychology plays a very definite part in the, you know, whether a trader is successful or not. However, if you don't have your risk management down pat, you know, you can just simply blow up your account. And a lot of people do blow up their accounts because they just don't understand risk management, right? And we're going to teach you all of that. By the end of the 2-day workshop, you're going to be working out, you're just going to do hundreds and hundreds of calculations where you're going to know every single cent you're about to spend, right? You'll also go, whoa, yeah, cool, I'm going to make 50 pips off that movement. At $10 a pip, I'm going to make $500. However, I'm only prepared to lose whatever your ratio is. Now, we normally stick at standard trading stocks and shares ratios around 3 to 1, right? Ours in Forex is around 1 to 1. We only want to risk 1% of our trading account. Now, how much do I put on a trade? Because what will happen is SMS emails will be sent out to you, all the trades will be sent out to you, then you've got to decide, okay, cool, that's great, I've got all these trades from these experienced professional traders, how much money am I going to put on it? Right, and you've got to chunk back. You've got to go, okay, I've got $10,000. And this is a calculation that you'll use. So I want you to write this down. You'll have your position size, which will equal your account value. Right, so if your account value is $10,000, you times that by the risk, which is 1%. Right, and then the next side, we're going to divide the entry minus the stop loss. So for example, let's have a look at the euro at $1.42. Right, and that's the entry price in the centre, and then the risk. Right, so I've got the account value. Now, if I minus these two, obviously that will give me the total pips of how much money I'm going to make. Right, so in this example, 269 is a reward. Now my risk on this one is 213 pips. Right, and straight away some people will be going, oh wow, if I'm going to trade $10 a pip, I'm actually going to, I bet you've already been thinking that, I'm actually going to lose, what's that times, if I'm trading $10 a pip and my risk is 213 pips, what's that? 2,000. Who would be happy with that? No one, right? Because you don't want to be thinking that you're automatically going to be trading $10 a pip. You need to actually work that out. So, based on our risk reward at 1 to 1, and we know that the equation is, so just say your account size is $10,000, right? Our risk is 1%. Only ever risk 1%. If you're happy to risk a little bit more, that's fine. But we want you to aim for 1%. Who'd be happy if they lost only 1% on a trade? Okay? You could live with that. You could deal with that quite easily. Now, so 1% of $10,000 account is $100, right? So the way that we get that, just say our stop, we've worked out the calculation, our stop is 50 points. Right, from the entry price to the stop loss, it's going to cost 50 points. So we have to use that amount and divide it by our risk amount, which was $100. So 100 divided by 50, which was our stop, from our entry to our stop, equals 2. So the account size that we can trade is only 2 mini lots or $2 a pip. Does that make sense? Right, so on $2 a pip, then we'll make that based on whatever the profit. So just say the profit was 200 pips, but we've only calculated it off our risk, right? And that goes for all trading. You should always understand, whether you're going to trade options, E-minis, Forex, just shares, always understand how much money you're prepared to actually forfeit. Now, you're only going to lend it to the market. You're going to get it back in the next 2 or 3 trades. All it is a loan to the market. That's all it is. They don't lose it forever. You're going to get it back, and hopefully you'll get it back with interest. Does that make sense? So just see it as a loan. Even if you have 2 trades go against you, go, hee! But you should be comfortable if you already worked out your calculations only 1%. Does that make sense? Excellent. So the question is, how much can I afford to lose? That's all you need to ask yourself. So this is a typical trade that we've entered. It'll have your entry point, it'll have your stop loss, and your profit target. Right? So that's a ratio of 1 to 1. Okay, so that amount is even to that amount. And this one here is a ratio of 3 to 1. So, you know, you can have different profit targets, you can have trailing stop losses, right? So, you know, you'll learn all about this, how to place this, and you'll get really, really good at it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring up Kel. This is a place where he can actually expand on the Australian interest rates and what's been going on at the moment. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very special thing to actually have Kel come all the way from New South Wales up to this. He's got a plane to catch this evening. You don't often get to see him prime away from his hard life, just living in a mansion on the beach with his kids. Most times he's snowboarding or he's out bike riding. He's one of those professional athletes, those freaks that do that 24-hour road racing thing. That's what he does as well. So he's a great guy. I want you to give him a beautiful, warm Queensland welcome, Mr. Kel Butcher.
Hello.
Are you on?
Am I on? Yeah. I'm on.
You might have to stand forward so these guys here can see as well, yeah.
So what do you want me to talk about?
So, Kel,
Yeah.
hey? The weather? No, he's not very good at the weather. But firstly, I want you told me a story of how you sort of grew up on a farm and used to do the stuff with the commodities and the cows, the cattle and the grains and stuff. You want to share that with the crowd?
Yeah, look, I guess like Lou said before, I've never had a job, and Eric was talking about having a job before, you know. So I don't really know what it's like to have a job. I grew up on a farm, so I guess I kind of learned about cycles and commodities and all that sort of stuff way back then, you know. So after I left uni, I did have, it's a bit of a furphy, I did have a job for about 4 months. I went to work for another trading house, and I thought after a little while, man, I'm only sitting here every day making the man rich, I might as well go do it for myself. So that was a long time ago, and ever since then I've pretty much just worked for myself. So I've been trading futures and shares and options and CFDs and Forex for quite a long time. So I've got a fair bit of experience, I guess, in the caper.
So you don't ever plan to get a job?
No way, Jose. This isn't a hard enough job to have to come here and do this. I want to be home surfing or something, you know.
That's right, and like he sort of epitomises exactly what you want to be like in the future. And he makes a bucket load more than me, but I plan to make as much money as Cal purely because I've got him as now a close friend and a mentor, and see how powerful that is. You know, having someone with that sort of experience and 20 years experience. So do you want to actually go through these slides and what affects Forex?
Well, that's a surprise, so let's see what happens. Which one do I click?
The one on the right.
Okay. Any of you guys that are trading now are either trading as maybe fundamental people, you know, you read the newspaper and you read reports about companies and you want to know what's going on in the economy and all that sort of jazz, yeah? Some of them. And the other ones are probably technical traders. You know, just look at your charts and use your indicators and all that sort of stuff. I'm 100% a technical trader. I don't worry too much about the fundamentals, but I understand that some people trade with them, so, you know, good luck to you if you do. Some of the fundamental stuff that affects Forex, though, are interest rates. I mean, you guys know that when the Reserve Bank talks about putting up interest rates, what effect does it have on the Aussie dollar? Goes up, yeah? Yeah. So those sort of things can become important if you want to study them and learn about it. Political events will happen, geopolitical stuff, you know, all that kerfuffle with Greece earlier on in the year had a bit of an impact on the euro for a while. So some of that stuff's important. As a technical trader though, I find most of that information's reflected in the charts and the things that I look at anyway, yeah? But you can trade Forex both ways, yeah? Which means that we can make money when the market's going up, like Lou was showing you some of those examples about buying and going long. We can make a profit when the market goes up. We can also make profits when the market goes down. So we can short sell at a high price and we want to buy it back at a lower price and we want to make our money on the short side. Forex is terrific for selling short because there's no restrictions. Because it's an off-market exchange, it's pretty much still unregulated. There's no rules about what you can and can't go short. Okay, so unlike in, you know, your share trader guys, it's hard to sell shares short, yeah, because you've got to borrow the stock or there's rules about what you can and can't do. We don't have any of those rules for short selling in Forex, so it makes it a really fluid, liquid market. It's pretty good. This is Lou's slide about psychology, so do you want me to do it? Yeah, okay. And this is typical, I guess, of most trader psychology, okay? Particularly beginner traders when they're getting started. So, you know, you get into your trade down here somewhere. I probably should be pointing, I don't know where I should be pointing, but, you know, you get in your trade here. As the trade starts to go in your favour and you're in profit, everyone gets pretty excited and you think you're really good at it, yeah? But if we don't have an exit rule for our trade, what generally happens is a trade will go up, we'll be in profit, looks like we're doing pretty well, and then the thing will collapse, and because we didn't know where the hell we were going to get out, we end up either getting back out where we got into the trade or sometimes even worse. People have experienced that, I'll bet, yeah? Yes? Because I have. Yeah? So we need rule-based trading if we're going to be successful in this business. And all of my trading that I do and the other guys that are on board with the Forex program, we all trade using targets. Okay, so we've got a profit target and we've got a stop loss. So we always know where we're going to get into a trade and we know where we're going to get out. We've got reasons. We've got a why, you know, because like Eric said, you need your why to make you cry, yeah? But you don't want it to make you cry when you get it wrong and you forgot to put your stop loss in. Yeah, we don't want one of those whys. Okay, we want positive whys. So we want to know why we get out for a profit or why we get stopped at if we get the trade wrong. So all that stuff's done for you guys as members of 21st Century Forex. But this is just a couple of example trades about, this is a long trade. So we bought it down the bottom at the green arrow and we took our profit up here 3.5 hours later. This was a trade earlier this year. These are just examples to show you. So this was a 40 pip trade at $10 a pip. If you were trading it at $1 a pip, obviously it'd be 40 bucks, yeah? Sweet? Yep. And I think we've got an example of a short trade. So again, here we've sold short at the red arrow up the top, and we want to make some profit when the market goes down. In this case, we had a target down here and we got our 20 pips 35 minutes later. Okay, so some of these trades can happen quite quickly in FX, and that's one of the other big benefits of it. This is an example of a medium-term trade, which the medium-term system takes a lot longer to evolve. This trade, these are 1 hour bars, so this is about 2 days. So you can see we got short at the top line, so we short sold. We've got a downtrend taking place. We get a signal to sell short. We know where our stop loss is. It's not marked on here, but the stop would have been up here somewhere. Profit target's down here, and we've got a 202 pip profit in, does it say how long? 3 days, there you go. So at $10 a pip, couple of grand. Yeah, even at $1 a pip, still 200 bucks, better than working for a living. I can tell you. Here's another one. That's just another example of a trade to the short side as well. So, Lou, over to you, or?
Yeah, you're pretty comfortable up there?
Yeah, I'll start
Give
here.
me a hand for being comfortable just standing there for a start.
This is about the first time. Yeah, you do this and I'll hang around.
Yeah, you stay here. So, like, what'll happen is, Cal, grab a seat if you like a seat. There you go. There's water there, some lollies. So what'll happen is Cal's signals, they get, like as soon as he selects a trade or the trading team selects a trade, it'll be sent out to you via email or SMS, right? Or you can do the auto trader subscription and it's automatically done for you. But for those people who actually want to place a trade, this is how you'll do it. You'll start receiving all the SMSs and email alerts straight away. Like now you won't have to pay a subscription for that. That's part of the program for free for 90 days. After that, you can manually demo trade this because you can open a $100,000 demo account, right? It gives you, we want you to have a couple of goes practice because you don't want to just go in there with live money straight away. You want to actually manoeuvre around your new vehicle, right? So you need to learn how to operate it. So you do that initially, right? And then once you're confident, then you can start trading some live signals. Or you can have them just totally auto-traded for you. And as I mentioned before, it's good for people who actually don't have the time or don't want to actually do it. Right? They're comfortable knowing that the trades that the team are placing on our client's behalf and also with Kel. So, or you can just do both. We have some people that place the trades automatically themselves because they want to get a handle on it, but at the same time, they're auto-trading their live account. Does that make sense? So what will happen is you'll start receiving these alerts. It'll look something like that. It'll come in as an SMS and an email. It'll have what he wants you to do to it, short or long, whether we're going to go buy or we're going to do a sell. It'll give you the currency that we're going to trade, the currency pair, and the price that he wants you to get in at, right? He'll have your target because we always obviously want to go for a target, and we're going to have a stop loss because we never ever want to enter a trade without a stop loss, right? Okay, so repeat after me. Never enter a trade without a stop loss. Never enter a trade without a stop loss. Because you know what? If you do it, you'll only do it once, right? Yeah. You'll have fun doing it. As I mean, you'll only do it once. Forget to put a stop loss on, right? So it'll look something like that. So all you've got to do is notate that down, right? You open your account. This is what we set up. It's set up for you instantly. What day is it? Saturday? Monday, right? You can open their account and you can have your simulation account ready to go with $100,000 in it. So it'll look something like that. It'll have charts. On the left-hand side, it's got the currencies. It's a bit hard to see here, but it's got the currencies, and I've just put the actual currency rate up the top, just for ease of this demonstration. Now, on the bottom right, underneath the charts, right, you'll have a guide there that shows you your stop loss, your entry price, your profit target, and you can see on the bottom right-hand side the amount of money made on this particular trade. I think it's like $394 for that particular trade. But here I've got 4 individual charts open because they represent 4 different currencies. If you're just trading one, just have one open. Right, so what will happen is you double-click on the currency. It's very easy, just a GUI interface. Just double-click on it, and it'll populate on the right-hand side of your screen. You can see up in the top left-hand corner, it's got the actual currency. Right, so you double-click on that, it'll populate the chart. You'll just go to execute an order, and then you just follow the bouncing ball. Make sure you're on the right currency, the volume. After you've done your calculation of your risk-reward, just say you're trading this one at $2 a pip, then you would do that at $2 a pip. If you're trading $10 a pip, you'll change the volume to $10 a pip. Right? Make sure you also make sure that you're doing it on the trade size that you're actually going to trade. If you're only looking at trading $5,000 foreign exchange, you open a demo account and start trading $100 a pip. Do you reckon how that will reflect on your actual live trading? Badly. Okay? So you want to actually, if you're only going to trade mini pips, $2, $3, $4, $5 a pip, only trade that amount, even in simulation, right? Because you want it to be equal. Stop loss, you just type it in. Profit target, you type it in. It's a sell, and at the price, which is the price given there, 1.49367. Then you press that big pink button that says place. It comes up as a confirmation. It tells you that you're in it. Make sure you are in the right currency. Right? Worst case scenario, if you actually do the wrong currency, you can just cancel the order. If the stop changes, or it needs to be modified, you'll get an SMS of that too, because sometimes Kel will modify the stop, and you just get the email and you go back in and you just modify. You press modify instead of new order. Or if you want to delete it, you just delete it. And then you press the big OK button. Who reckons they could do that? If that was SMS, who reckons that they could do that? And do you reckon if you learn how to do it once, and there's a video and screenshots of exactly what to do with big arrows with me talking, going, press here, buy now. Right? You reckon you could do that again? Right? You reckon you do it a third time? You reckon do it over and over and over again? Especially if you're trading $2 or $3 a pip, right? And you're getting signals of 20, 30 pips at a time. Who'd be happy with that? Just do the numbers quickly in your head. Right? You're selecting your session, morning, noon, throughout the day, whenever. Right? So then what'll appear is it'll have a line. It'll have your entry price, it'll have your stop. Where there's the entry, right? We're going up. The profit target is just above there, and it's a bit hard to see on this chart. I can see it clearly on mine. However, there's a red line along there, okay? And there's my stop loss. So you then go away. Go and live. Go and buy your wife another handbag. Take her out to dinner, buy some flowers. Righto? Men, go and have a beer with your buddies. Right? We don't want you sitting there watching the chart the whole time. Oh, is it going up? Is it going down? Is it going up? Is it going down? Like Cal once said before, he goes, if you've got an investment property, you don't drive past it every single day to see if it's increased in value, do you? Of course not, right? And it's the same thing. If you're just taking a trade and it's going to go over a few days, just leave it, because what will happen is it comes down, it hits your stop, it'll automatically take you out of the trade. And how much have you lost on that trade, percentage-wise? Hey, right? Now, just on that 1% thing, just say you've got $100,000 to invest, right? And you know that your 1% is 1,000, your risk. You have to also calculate what is your max risk. Because sometimes he might shoot in 5 or 6 trades in a week. You don't want to be sitting there going, bing, 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 you put them all in, because that's 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, right? Suddenly you've got 8 trades in. How many? What's our percentage up to? 8%. We didn't really want to lose, potentially risk 8%. So you have to also, 1, how much risk per trade, but 2, what's your maximum risk for your entire account? Mine, for example, is 5. I'm only prepared to donate 5% max, which means I can only take 5 trades at a time. However, just say 5 trades, maybe the first one doesn't go for me. I'm now ready to do my 5th one. Okay, this one's out, now I can put the next one in, because there might be 8 trades that came in. Does that make sense? So make sure you're always aware of that. And the risk reward is 1-to-1, like it's got there. there's some other trades that have come in. This is just over the period of time that we've had Kel with us. And this is a screenshot of what you actually receive. You just get a copy of the chart, and down the bottom you can see it says buy at 92, place the stop at 91, and the profit target at 93. So straight away you're going to see the chart, you're going to see the currency, and you're going to have a visual representation of what the trade will look like at the end. Now this one took longer, so this is like an end of day trade, took 6 days, right? But made 148 pips of profit. Who'd be happy with 148 pips of profit, right? What about if you had it at $10 a pip? Who'd be happy with that? $1,500? Hey, of course, not too shabby. Louis Vuitton for you, miss. Geez, you got a lovely husband. Oh, he's going to make $20 million a year. Right. So you'll be trading some serious pips, won't you? What pip size would he be trading? If he's couple of $1,000 a pip? So these are the strategies we've got, right? So we've got, as I said, because we've got a team of 5 or 6 traders with Kel as the predominant main master trader, because he's got the most experience. Our other traders have been working as prop traders in Citibank, overseas in Singapore, Switzerland Bank, stuff like that. So they're all very specialised and skilled. Now, they're all trained or do separate strategies. Some of you may want to be a short-term trader, which is known as intraday trading. You may take 3 or 4, 5, 6, 10 trades a day. Who are those sort of people? Just short, in and out, 20 pips, 20 pips, 20 pips in, 20 pips out, 40 pips in, 40 pips out. Whereas others of you may want to take a medium-term approach and actually don't want to focus on that. They may want to do mainly Kel's strategy, which is the medium-term system, and he takes... well, you talk about it, actually.
No, you're going really well.
No, but it's yours. Don't you think he should be talking about his system? Come on.
A medium-term system trades about once a week on average. The last month we've had a relatively quiet month with that strategy because the market hasn't been really set up to do anything. So the sign of a good system, regardless of the time frame that you trade, is periods of inactivity, because it means it's not just trading for the hell of something to do, you know what I mean? It has to be in sync with the market. The medium-term system, over the last 4 weeks, I think we've had 1 trade. Up until just this week we've had 2 or 3, but it had a long time where it didn't do anything because it just wasn't set up, market conditions weren't right. So you'll see that the same on a medium-term strategy or even a short-term strategy. Just because a strategy is trading short-term doesn't mean it has to trade all the time. You know, it has to wait, make sure the market's set up for the trades that it wants, and then take them. So they're all the same. That's the results of the medium-term system for the last 3 years. It's made, at $10 a pip, that is, it's made 82 grand in profit. Okay, but that's at $10 a pip. So if it was at $1 a pip, it'd be $8,270. It's not a bad rate of return. Here's my driver. There you go. So that's 8 times growth in your capital, depending on your starting capital, of course.
So the average monthly profit for that one's like $2,490, right? And average weekly profit is $623.
That's at $10 a pip. At
$10 a pip. And like some of you may already start at $10 a pip. You may have a 40, 50,000 plus account to start trading. Whereas others of you may take a little bit longer to build that up. But even if you've got one at $5 a pip, $3 a pip, $10 a pip, whatever it is, it's entirely up to you. But how cool would it be knowing that this guy is doing it automatically for you? And it's been going from January 2007, well, it's still current now. And it's the system, it's a mechanical system that he just does, right? Who'd be happy with that sort of profit? Yeah, absolutely.
So as well, if you come on board as a Forex client, you get access to some other markets that we trade. I trade futures, so the commodity markets. Things like corn and gold and lean hogs and cocoa and that sort of stuff. And I also trade the indexes, so the E-mini, S&P, trade a couple of the European indexes and also the Aussie SPY, the share price index, which is our futures equivalent kind of the big S&P in the US. These are some of the results from those systems. The grain trading system has made a profit of it's over 300,000 now anyway in 3 years' time. In 3 years, so since the start of 2007. These are just some of the results. But again, that's using money management, okay? So it starts off trading one contract, and then as you make profit, you add contracts to it. So as you make profit, you trade more, so you get some exponential growth out of it. So it's at 149 trades. That was up till the middle of July. It's actually better than that now. Trades about once a week again, a bit like that other medium-term system.
So just go back to that.
Sure.
So with this one, you've done...
That's the soft one. You went forward, I think.
Did I go forward?
Yeah.
So this has been going for another one for 3 years, nearly 300,000. So
yeah, that's up till July. Up until now, it's about 310 or something.
So you've got, imagine this, right? You've got $15,000, right? You can go and buy a house. Any houses around here, you can get 15 grand.
Oh yeah.
Maybe tomorrow you'll be able to hear an awesome strategy in the US where you might be able to. However, imagine that, putting 15 grand, either, structured through your accountant somewhere and leaving it. Because he does this as investment properties, right? He doesn't buy tons of houses. These are commodities that he buys. So $15,000 down in one with a return, leaving it with money management over 3 years of $300,000. Honestly, do you know any other strategy that this is that you can do this stuff with? Absolutely. To get that sort of return, I think, are you guys like stunned, or are you just sort of going, I don't get it? I want you to look at that. Say 300,000 in 3 years. Say that. And what did you have to do? You'd had to put 15 Ks in 3 years ago. Imagine going past your house, right? 15K going, oh, look at it! 15 Ks, it's gone up, 300. Would you be happy with that? Exactly. I would be super happy with it. So that's what I mean. Kel sees trading as his properties. So that was just, okay, so we've got one little greenhouse there, or two. Forex is one little greenhouse, and now we've got another one. And now, what's this one?
That's the softs. So that's coffee and cotton and stuff like that.
Coffee, cotton. So this is stuff we drink and eat and consume anyway. Sugar, cocoa, all that sort of stuff. So the results of this are...
Yeah, it's not quite as good. It's only made about 200 grand.
So that's only made about 200 grand, right? And how much do you reckon this little house cost? Have a guess. 15. Right, you can't get in less than that, can you?
No, you need that for the margin.
So this is over 10 years, right? 2000 to 2010, monthly profit of 4.6, 3 years. So there's your other little greenhouse, right? And now this one, Kel, what's this one?
Oh, this is the SPY. So this is the SPY is the Aussie equivalent of the S&P. You guys know the S&P in the US, S&P 500. SPY is the futures equivalent of the ASX 200. So it's a futures contract based on the top 200 shares. So I've got a system that trades that too. It's made a couple of $100 grand profit over a longer period, that one though. That's over about 10 years. It's made that. So that's without money management. With money management, it's trading a lot more contracts. That's if you're just trading one. With money management, it's trading a lot more, and it's done a hell of a lot better. But the results of it are a bit scary. Close to 700 grand.
Bit scary? Who reckons that'd be scary? I wouldn't be scared of it. Right? You know why? Because I wouldn't have to do anything with it. All I gotta do is just plop money into it and just let him do it. Because he's been doing it for 20 goddamn years. So why would I even need to worry? That's why I don't worry. But guess what? Like, I don't sit there with my belief. Remember my money belief? My belief is strong. I know I'm going to make a bucket load of money. I know I always will because I know it. So I just go, okay, into the broker's account, 15K. I want a house on corn. I want a house on coffee. I want a house on S&P 500 indexes, whatever it is. And I just let it be. Right? Let it be until I'm, old, maybe 80, 90 years' time. Right? And then I'll give it to my beneficiaries, all my children and my great-grandchildren. Because you're just going to leave that. Right? But if you want one of those smaller, shorter trades, well, then you do Forex. Does that make sense? Yep. So, this is his personal account, 4 years. Where can you sort of make that money? This one was with only a 10K. Is that right? Yeah. 10K. 10K, leaving it in there. unless you can find another vehicle that gives you this sort of returns. And the only reason you're sort of a bit stunned is because we don't, as Australians, understand trading. We just don't get it. All we know is the ASX, our Australian Stock Exchange. We now know foreign exchange. We know what our Australian dollar is. We know what it's doing, and we know the impact it's having on other countries. We know that other countries are parking their money with us because we earn interest on our Australian dollar. Correct? So why wouldn't they?